Tim, should we tell the listeners how to join the Golfweek Amateur Tour?
Yes, of course. We should probably do it now before we forget, though.
I agree. It's simple. All you need to do is go to amateurgolftour.net, click the Join the Tour button, and pay your local tour's membership.
Thanks, Chris. Membership for 2024 is open, so register today to join the oldest, largest, and best amateur tour in the country.
And remember, this podcast can be found on all the major platforms. So make sure you like, download, and share it with all your friends and family.
Chris, that's a great idea. Now, on to the show. All right, Chris, almost through August, wrapped up Kiawah this past weekend, only 2 regionals left, and we're less than 16 days out for a national championship.
Yep, it's been fun. I keep saying that. I don't know why I keep saying that, but it has been. I think more enjoyable now that we get to do what we get to do, but gonna travel out to Scottsdale next couple of days and then give it one more chance to hopefully pull a W in the regional this year.
Well, we're always pulling for you. And, when you're going to be in Scottsdale, I'll be in French Lick. But in the meantime, let's go ahead and get this episode started.
Let's go.
Ladies and gentlemen, Golfweek Amateur Tour, the podcast. Talking about all things Golfweek Amateur Tour, including interviews with tour directors, players, and course pros. Now, here are your hosts, Atlanta Tour Director Tim Newman and El Paso Las Cruces Director Chris Rocha.
Chris, time is completely flying by.
Correct.
It's the end of August. We just had Kiawah just finished. There's 2 regionals left coming up this coming weekend. And, we're into September and about 40, 45 days away from national championship. I don't know where all the time's been.
I don't either. I was telling my members, when we're doing the pairings, when you start the season, it's right there on top and it's easy to find. And then when you start scrolling down and you realize you're almost at the end, it's unbelievable. So it goes by pretty quick, but at the end of the day, it's been fun, and start looking forward to next season.
Yeah, but Dennis caught us both by surprise last week when he sent us the email with the data in it that we generally ask for in September. I was kind of surprised when I got it. I said, I can't believe that he knew that I was going to be asking for it here real soon.
Right. It shows that he pays attention to our podcast, which is great.
Uh-huh.
Make sure that he's aware of it. But we'll talk about more of that data later. But it was nice to see.
Yeah, the one thing I'm upset with that kind of, again, you and I going to hell, that slipped through the cracks. We talked a couple of episodes ago about the good things that some of our players are doing outside of the tour, and Joe Jaspers did it again, and we didn't know about it. He qualified for the U.S. Senior Open, and when this comes out, it'll be over with. So hopefully we'll have some good news.
Right.
And I'm sure he's going to do well. He always does well. So congratulations to him and good luck, because we're obviously recording this before he goes out to play. But good luck to him, and hopefully we'll have some good news next week.
Right. But are you really surprised that he qualified?
No, I'm not surprised that he qualified. I'm surprised that we didn't pay attention to it.
True.
But then again, I'm not. When we missed Mother's Day, nothing really surprised me about us anymore.
We don't talk about that.
So we've been doing this podcast for 2 years, and we've talked to a number of different, people and players and tour directors over the entire country. But one of the things I looked at recently is there's a couple of tours where we haven't talked to anybody yet, which I was really surprised at, and especially surprised from our next guest, his tour. We haven't talked to him or any of his players. So let's welcome in tour director from Jacksonville, Donnie Thomas. Donnie, welcome to the show, bud.
Good. Thank you guys for having me, and congratulations on the podcast success. You guys are doing a great job.
Appreciate it.
Thank you so much. And I'm sorry that, we haven't gotten down to talk to anybody in Jacksonville yet. I mean, you all have a really big tour, a lots of really good players, lots of good things going on. So it's surprising that we haven't had you on yet.
Well, again, I appreciate it. We are proud of our tour. I'm proud of our members. I'm proud of the two people that I have helping me, Craig Tomlinson and Tad Cruz. They pitch in, and really I couldn't do it without them. So I want to thank them for everything they do for the tour as well.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned, the people that help you. I don't know of any tour director who's doing this by themselves and only by themselves.
Right.
We can't run, good tournaments without that help. For me, myself, obviously I've got Jen, and, she's the one, Jen's really the one who does all the work. And then I've got, Al Shepard, who, I couldn't do anything without him. He is instrumental in making sure things go smoothly on game day. Chris, I know you've got help.
Yes.
Across the board.
Yeah. Tad, he really helps me out on the front end with all the setting up, the stuff in the computer. And then Craig, he's the day of guy. He helps me with the scoring. And again, when you're running a tour that's 150 members or so, you need help. And they do a fantastic job.
Any help on the day of the event is great help. I know we just said that a couple of times, but couldn't think of a better word, because setting up flags, picking up flags,
right.
Checking in people, especially tee times, for those directors that play as well, having that help is just tremendous.
Yeah, because if you're running tee times, as tour director, you want to get out early so that you can get in early and start passing out trophies and prizes and stuff. So, having help, being a tour director that plays, that's very important. I haven't played a lot of tee time events this year, but I definitely like to jump in on those shotgun days and get my rounds in.
I would much prefer shotgun starts than tee time events. We've most of our events this year have been shotgun, and we've had two that have been back-to-back tee times, and guys come up to me and said, Tim, we've gotten used to the shotguns. Can we just do them all the time? I said, well, I'll do what I can for you, but there's sometimes there's nothing I can do.
Sometimes, some of our players think that we can just call the golf course and say, hey, I want an 8:00 shotgun.
Yeah, right.
I wish it worked that way.
Right.
I really do wish it worked that way, but it doesn't. We're at the mercy of their schedule, their membership, and but we're grateful for all of our courses and what they do for us. They roll out the red carpet, and I can't say enough about the courses on our schedule this year.
Well, you've got a lot of really good courses. With being in Jacksonville, you've got access to some of the best courses in the country.
Yeah, and Jacksonville offers up some good courses. Since COVID, golf has exploded. And so it's getting a little harder to get in some of those Jacksonville courses, but we're fortunate to play up and down the East Coast of Florida. And we even go into Georgia, as far up as almost into Brunswick, Sanctuary Cove, Osprey Cove. We have a 2-day major where we'll play Sanctuary Cove on day 1. We'll play Osprey Cove on day 2. Very popular with the players because they're just two phenomenal golf courses. And then we'll go down to Daytona Beach. We've got LPGA International there. You've got Venetian Bay, Plantation Bay. So some really great courses to choose from on the East Coast of Florida.
You didn't even mention some of my favorites. You got King and the Bear and Slammer and Squire.
Yes, King and the Bear and Slammer and Squire. King and the Bear is closed right now for renovation. They'll open back up again in October. So I'm already in talks with them to schedule a 2-day major with them. And then we'll also play a single-day event with them next year in 2025.
Those are really good courses. I probably say this every episode, that if anybody who's interested in traveling, you should travel to whichever guest we're talking to. But especially where Jacksonville's located with so many tours really within driving distance, 3, 4, even 5 hours within driving distance.
That's right.
I mean, hop in the car one weekend and go down and play some of these courses. You won't be disappointed.
No, absolutely not. We've also got TPC, Sawgrass, TPC Stadium. The senior tour is taking advantage of having some events there. And, if you're a member of one tour, you're a member of all. So this weekend, I'm headed to Kiawah Island, South Carolina, to play in the 2-day major there. So, being a member of the Golfweek Tour really opens up a lot of courses to you that, the general public just doesn't always get a chance to play. And that's the great thing about being a member.
Exactly. But Donnie, you've been a member, for 15 years, right?
Yes, sir. I actually, probably about 18 years. I think I first joined the tour in 2007. I was just pilling around on the computer, and I come across the Golfweek Tour, and I contacted the tour director. I played my first event down in Orlando. I was nervous as I could be, but after you play a few events, you realize that you're just amongst good people that enjoy competing in golf. And that's what the Golfweek Tour gives you the opportunity to do, no matter what your skill level. Yeah. We've got guys that are going to shoot 68 and we've got some that are going to shoot 108. But the thing about it being flighted, each flight takes their game just as serious as the guys that are shooting 68. So it's competitive. So for the person has that competitive bone in their body, the Golfweek Tour is a great way to, quench that thirst.
Yep. Well, you said you got guys that shoot 68, and I'm going to bring up Lance for a second. And
yep.
What's it like to be able to watch this guy play, week in and week out, and just so that everybody understands, we talk about Joe Jaspers a lot. We talk about some other people a lot, and Lance's name comes up a lot, but he's probably the quiet one that people don't. That
he is
unassuming. His index, Chris, okay, it's sick. It's minus 4.2.
Yeah. I've seen that. I've seen players like that.
I had the fortune of playing with him last year at King and the Bear, and he shot 62. And I didn't realize just how low he was until it was me, Craig Tomlinson, and Lance playing in a threesome. And I didn't realize how low he was until we had played about 12, 13 holes, and we had about a 15-minute rain delay, and we're sitting under the shed out there waiting for the rain to clear. And I looked at live score, and he was 8 under, and I'm like, what the heck? He was 8 under after 12 holes. And, the difference between, I'll just use my game, for example, and his game, a 190-yard shot is like me hitting my pitching wedge. He's going to hit the green from 190 yards to where your average golfer, you're going to be chipping after you hit your 180-yard shot. It doesn't matter what yardage he's out. He's going to knock it up there to where he's got a legitimate shot at birdie. And, that's how he shoots so low. His approach shots, no matter the yardage, he's going to knock it up there pretty tight.
Just to be able to watch him play, a lot of people say, how do you get better? When do you get better? By playing with good players and watching good players and trying to emulate and do the things that they do, with course management, not always hitting driver, but to watch somebody like Lance play, smooth swing, very controlled, very, very deliberate, doesn't get too high, doesn't get too low, just hits the ball, goes to the next one, hits the ball again, and picks up after 3. Picks up out of the hole.
Yeah. It's, he's going to compete in every tournament he goes to. Again, that day, watching him shoot that 62, it was a thing of beauty. And, but that's the good thing. That's the great thing about the Golfweek Tour is regardless of what flight you're in.
Yes.
You're playing against other people at the same skill level. And them guys are competing just like those guys in Champ Flight. They're out there grinding it out, playing shot by shot. And it's just fun to watch these guys and girls and how seriously they take the game. It's, we've had we've had so many guys that started out with us in D flight, and they're now playing B flight.
Yep.
This tournament golf has helped them improve their game. And that's what I'd tell anybody out there listening. If you're looking for a place to play where you can be competitive against others of the same skill level, look us up at amateurgolftour.net and you'll wind up playing, enjoying yourself, and meeting lifelong friends.
Exactly. How did you become a tour director? You said you first started playing, and then you became a tour director.
I'll tell you exactly. I had searched it up on the internet and found the Golfweek tour, and I signed up for an event, played the first event, met the tour director, and I came back home and I told all my golfing buddies about it because I was very enthusiastic. I had a great time. It was so much fun competing. Well, the very next tournament, 2 weeks later, I brought 7 buddies with me. And so, that caught the tour director's eye, and he said, "Hey, do you want to help me out?" And I said, "Sure." So what I started doing for him was, after the tournament, he asked me to write up the article, of all the flight winners, and just write a couple paragraphs, to summarize the golf tournament. And so I started doing that for him. And then he moved on, and we got another tour director in. Hoke Board was the tournament director. And then Hoke had it for 3 years. And in 2010, when he could no longer do it, he got in touch with Dennis and said, "Hey, there's this guy named Donnie Thomas. He's a great promoter of the tour. He would be the guy to take over after me if so you should talk to him." And me and Dennis talked, and in 2010 I took over as tour director, and my first event we had 17 players. So just like me going and promoting the tour after I played in my first event, as tour directors, we do all we can to promote the tour, Facebook ads and emails and this and that. But I'm telling you, there's no better promoter than your players.
Yes, I agree.
If they're excited, they're going to tell people. And I love it when I get a new player in and they win their very first tournament.
Yes.
They are excited. They are ecstatic. And this past weekend, we had a female player. She came in D flight. She shot a really good round. And when she left there, I guarantee you she's told a dozen people by now. And at some point, we'll reap the rewards of that because she'll be bringing new players in. And so, if you can get your players to go out and recruit 2 players, your tour is going to just blow up. So
exactly,
that's a lot of fun to watch as well. Players that they come in, they get excited, and then they do just a fantastic job recruiting players for you.
I got a D-Flight player who joined this year, and he won his first event, and he said he's been excited all year, and he was the very first person to get the registration in for national championship. That's how excited he was.
Nice. Nice.
So,
yep.
We were talking a little bit offline, and as you became the tour director, you had just retired from the sheriff's office.
Yes, sir. I worked most of my career. I've been in law enforcement for the Florida Department of Corrections for most of my career. But for about 4 years, my last 4 years before I retired, I worked for the Columbia County Sheriff's Department in Lake City, Florida. I can remember working midnight shift, getting off at 6 a.m., packing up and headed to golf tournaments on the Golfweek tour, and recruited several players from the Sheriff's Department, players that are still playing on my tour today.
That's crazy.
Most of our guys are really good guys, right?
They are.
So do your guys know that you worked in Sheriff's Office and worked for the Department of Corrections? And do they not try and get anything over on you because they know you're going to catch them?
Yeah, well, I'm pretty good at reading people, so I try to keep a keen eye out for that. When you've got 60 or 80 guys together and girls, you're dealing with all kind of personalities.
Yes.
So you over time, you learn those personalities and you try to make your pairings, for instance, such that those personalities favor each other, you know?
Yes.
You're not wrong there.
You learn, you know, who's your faster players, who's your slower players, and then you try to do your pairings to so those people complement each other.
Yeah, you try.
Yeah, you try.
Yeah, that's the
right.
key. That's the key. You try.
Yeah. And, you know, something else that's I think was a game changer for our tour is live scoring. Hats off to Jamie, who built that program to and customized it for us, you know, and now Mike, who's doing the live scoring for us. I can't thank those guys enough for what they've done. And for those out there that are wondering what I'm talking about, live score is a way that on game day players can input their scores hole by hole, and they can keep up with the leaderboard, you know, right there on their phone. You know, they know where they stand, they know where their skins are holding up, they know how much the skins are worth. And I just think that really added a lot to our tour when live score came along.
It's a blessing and a curse having that live score, because
if
you can't handle what you see, you might crumble.
Right. Yeah. It's amazing how you hear guys, some guys will check it after 4 holes. Some guys don't want to see it at all.
I'm the one that'll check it after hole 16.
Yeah.
And at that point, it's either too late or it's just the right time. But after that,
kind of know what you got ahead of you. Yep. But you know, for us, when we send our report in, you know, it saves some time on the back end for us as tour directors. When we send our report to Dennis, you know, it helps. It's helped there, but it's also made it interesting for the players. I can remember, I think it was 2017 when I first started using live score, and I was telling my players about it. You know, I had some players grumbling, "Oh, we got to put our score in after each hole. You know, that's time consuming." Well, now if I was to tell them we were going to take it away, they wouldn't like it at all.
They wouldn't like it at all.
You know, they're hooked on it.
Mm-hmm.
They're hooked on it.
Yeah. I'm with you. When we first started using it, now I like being on the golf course, and I have my phone around, this, that, and the other thing, and now we can't get it out of their hands.
Yeah. You know, everybody behind the scenes that helps us out. Dennis McCormick, our president, his wife Jennifer, Jen Newman, you, Tim, Susan Geller. I can't thank all those people enough. They've not only helped me out, but I mean, I consider them, when I say lifelong friends, I consider all those people friends.
Donnie, I appreciate it, but I don't do anything, man.
Well, you do. Yes, you do.
You saw Jen come in the room. She does all the work.
Well, yeah, I know she's a go-getter, that's for sure. But you know, another thing that we have now that we didn't have is that tournament committee that keeps looks over the scores each tournament to determine if there's any scores outside our flight parameters. You know, that's a big help. That's an improvement over what we were doing, because, you know, we have to protect the field and the integrity of the game, you know?
Yeah, I agree. That's been a big improvement for us tour wide. And I do sit on that committee and help Dennis and the other tour directors out on that. And it's good to kind of see what's going on across the country and how other tour directors are managing some of these issues. And number one, it gives us ideas. Okay, maybe we should try what they're doing and do a little bit better, or, you know, what this person over here is doing doesn't really work. And so let's try something else. But, you know, it also lets the players across the country know that it's being monitored. And so what's going on in Jacksonville, Jacksonville's not doing anything different than upstate New York or Houston or California or whatever. Everybody is being monitored the exact same way and using the exact same parameters for us to make these decisions.
And you know, when you're out there recruiting, that's one of the things that you can tell a prospective player, to let them know that, hey, our integrity is impeccable, and we want everyone to know that, we're not going to let anyone come in and do what I call a hit and run. You know what I mean?
Right.
And all your players want to know that, and they want to know that you're protecting the field,
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
I agree.
So Chris, you got to cut that out. What you're doing over there? You texted me while I'm in the middle of my tournament this past weekend.
Hey, you want to be part of the committee. I was just following rules.
Yeah. You and I talked about, about that. And it's good that tour directors across the country are seeing this and are on board with it and not trying to get away with it either. That's the other piece to it. The tour directors are on board, and they're not, well, I'm just going to let this slide. All the tour directors are on board, and they're making the phone calls in, they're checking those scores so that it's done right and done properly, which again is a testament to the tour directors. And just like Donnie said, the integrity of what we're trying to do.
And there's some other safeguards in place that the national office does as well, like having a deadline for flight movement.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That deadline for flight movement keeps someone, as we get closer and closer to nationals, trying to manipulate their index so that they could get in a lower flight for the national tournament. And I hate to even think that we have to bring that up, but we do. But that's just another safeguard there to keep things the way they should be.
Right. I hate to bring it up too, but that's no different than any other league that's out there.
That's right.
They all have to do that. The reason we have to do it is because people try and get around, just like anything else. Yeah. Yeah. I think we do a good job of keeping that at bay as best we can.
Yep.
But there's no tour out there. There's no league or organization out there that is running golf tournaments. Even at your local club, they're doing it. They're trying.
Everyone's doing it. That's right. It's not unique to us. It's just a way to go out and sell your product and let everybody know that, hey, you come play with us, you're guaranteed that everything's going to be done as best we can the right way. Do we make mistakes? Have I made a few mistakes here and there? Of course I have. I'm human, but we do the best we can to make sure stuff like that don't happen.
Out of 15 years, 18 years, what's been your best and most memorable round? It may not be your best score ever, but your best round.
Oh man, University of Florida, probably, I wasn't a tour director, was probably my second or third golf tournament. And back then I was still nervous, it was a tournament, and I would be in my head more than I needed to be. But we were playing at the University of Florida, and I just had one of those days. I shot 71, which is 1 over par. And anytime somebody comes in and shoots a low score, you hear the guys, hey, you got to move up. You're moving up, and you're going to champ flight, and but it was just one of those days, and those guys and girls knew that that was just one of those days for me. My best round on tour was 1 over par.
That's a pretty good round.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was just hitting those greens and two putting and getting out of there. I haven't been able to relive that moment yet, but I'm going to try to do it this weekend at Kiawah.
Well, Chris, you had a good round this past weekend. Was that your best round, 75? Let's take a quick break and hear from our sponsor, Srixon.
A great iron set needs more than good looks. It's got to be fast and got to be pure. But good looks never hurt either. The all-new ZX Mark II irons from Srixon.
+4, tied for the best. Yeah.
Okay. That's
nice.
Pretty
good round.
But Donnie, he didn't win.
Oh,
I did not win.
yeah.
I lost by 1.
Wow. Somebody really played well.
It happens, but I'm
yeah.
you know, I'm the type that's going to play the best that I can and let the chips fall where they may. So that's
Yep,
what happens.
that's me too. I wanna go as low as I can every time. If that means that at some point I wind up in champ flight competing against Joe Jaspers and Lance Lacombe, so be it.
Exactly. Plus you get to play with them, and then you'd really get to see it firsthand. And
absolutely.
It's
my
amazing.
Joe Jaspers story is, I don't know how many years ago it was, but the weather wasn't all that great, and we were playing in Palmetto Dunes on the Jones course, and it has that par 3 that goes out to the ocean. I can't remember what hole that is, but the wind was blowing in 30 miles an hour, and the tees were all the way back, and a lot of the guys were having to hit 3-wood or driver. And Joe steps up there on the tee on that par 3, the wind just galing in his face with a 4-iron, and just launches a bullet to about 3 feet from the pin, taps it in for birdie. You know,
Like
he's
nothing.
like, "What's the big deal, guys? What's the big deal? It's just a 4-iron."
Oh my goodness, that's great.
Yeah,
It's great.
yeah. He's a good golfer.
Yeah, he is. Well, you've got 4 tournaments left this year. If somebody could only come to one of them, which one would it be?
That would be Kinderloo Forest in Valdosta, Georgia.
Oh yeah, okay.
It is a beautiful. I put it right up there with TPC Sawgrass. It is that nice of a golf course. They play the Corn Ferry plays a tournament there every year. It's immaculate. It's got everything you'd want in a golf course. It's just hard to describe it. It's as top notch as you can get. It's a beautiful place. A lot of hills and valleys and ravines. A beautiful, beautiful place. Kinderloo Forest Golf Club in Valdosta, Georgia.
I've heard good things about that. I've got
Yes, sir.
a member who lives down that way, and he keeps saying we need to go down there and play. I said, number one, it's way too far for us.
Right.
He says nothing but good things about that course.
Yeah, it's a special place. And, you know, we play it twice a year. We'll play it early, like April, May, and then we'll play it again in September. And, you know, Dennis runs these spiffs, right, for us tour directors, you know, on our membership drives and stuff like this. And I won it one year because I had 7 people join in September just to play that Kinderloo.
Oh man,
That's awesome. They joined the tour with just 2 events left because they wanted to compete at Kinderloo. So that kind of tells you right there what kind of place that is.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, Donnie, thank you so much for spending some time with us tonight. I really do appreciate it. And, you know, we don't get to see each other much, but I do enjoy our time together at National Championship, the time we get to spend there.
Look forward to seeing both of you guys there. And again, congratulations on the success of this podcast. And it's truly appreciated that you guys gave the Jacksonville Tour some time tonight to brag on what we're doing down here.
Well, you guys are doing great things, so keep it up.
All right. Take care now.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Tim, you know, you mentioned it. We're almost to the point where we've interviewed somebody from every tour, which is awesome. But to get these tour directors on, you know, it's just a little bit special because we get to hear what's going on in their tours and give them the spotlight for a second.
Yeah, and Donnie's been around for a long, long time. And, you know, as I said in there, it's hard to believe that we haven't had somebody from Jacksonville Tour on over 2 years, not just Donnie, but go back to our episode a couple weeks ago when I said we had a 62, it was Lance,
right,
who we forgot. And it's kind of funny how that kind of plays into things. And so Lance, sorry we forgot about you, but we didn't really forget about you. And you know, you're definitely due. And, you know, we owe you a segment on here. So whenever you want to come on, we're obviously happy to have you on.
Yes.
The Jacksonville Tour, they do a lot of good things. I mean, they got a lot of great courses. Donnie's a great tour director. Like I said, he's been around for forever. And as a retired sheriff and correctional officer, I can imagine nobody gets away with too much stuff down there.
Oh, I'm pretty sure it's a tight run ship over there with that.
Yeah. So we've got, 2 regionals coming up. We've talked about it already. Kiawah just wrapped up this past weekend, so that we're down to 2.
Yeah.
You're heading off to Scottsdale. When you leaving?
We're leaving Wednesday. I'm going to do this thing called Wolf Creek with the boys. It's kind of like a water park retreat. Kind of spend some time with them Thursday, and then Friday got a practice round at Greyhawk Talon course, and then Saturday, Sunday is a tournament.
Hey, you ever played a Greyhawk?
I've played the Raptors course, but not the Talon. I played Raptors last year.
You know what? I love those 2 courses. Love them.
Can't wait.
Before the kids, got older and went off to college, Jen and I used to go out to Scottsdale for a week and took lessons and played all over the place. And Greyhawk, it was some of our favorites. And one time we were playing there, and you could see a sandstorm coming in. And I said, I'm because we were on 18th hole, and she said, well, we should just pick it up and go. I said, no, I got to finish this hole. It's 18. We just need to finish and get over with. And we literally we finished the hole, drove the cart over to our car, and got in the car just as the sand started pelting us. And we were in there for probably about half an hour. And if you've never been in one of those sandstorms, I'm sure that you have. Sand gets everywhere. I mean, it gets into the car.
Oh yeah,
you're tasting it. I mean, oh my gosh! But
they're terrible.
In terms of those courses, yeah, you're playing. Well, over the course of the weekend, you're playing 3 really good courses.
Yeah, I am. Honestly, TPC, I'm more excited for Champions course than Stadiums course, because it makes me think a little bit more. So I'm excited for that one. And the fact that I had to miss it last year kind of has a little itch ready to go.
Yeah, we'll take it easy. Don't hurt yourself. Don't make sure that back's in good shape.
I've been drinking plenty of water. I think we'll be okay.
When we had Gabe on earlier in the year, we talked about that Champions course and how that's kind of underrated.
Right. Yeah, it is. It makes you think more than Stadium, because Stadium you can hit it, and if some holes, if you're right or left, you're still okay. But Champions, if you're right or left, there's no help for most of the holes. So it makes you really put away the driver and figure out what you want to hit off the tee box.
Mm-hmm. Is your foursomes already done yet? Do you know?
The pairings? No,
yeah.
They're not done yet. But I'm interested to see who I get, because I know a bunch of Arizona guys. So if I get an Arizona guy, there's going to be a lot of trash talking.
Let's take a quick break and hear from our sponsor, Srixon.
ZX Mark II drivers are for major players, major winners, major power. All new ZX Mark II drivers, only from Srixon.
Yeah, there was somebody else. There's somebody I know who's playing that I meant to tell Gabe to pair you with, and I can't remember who it is.
You better get to him quick.
Jamil. Remember
Jamil Edward.
Remember we had text. You got Gabe's number?
First.
Just text him right now. Tell him you want to be paired with Jamil.
But yeah, I mean, we're gonna have a good time out there. We do a different contest every year.
Mm-hmm.
We started off with really El Paso versus Arizona, and then we kind of split everybody else. But we did the math, and the Western states have almost the identical amount of players as every other tour.
Right.
So we're doing the Western states versus everybody else.
That's awesome.
So the top 3 lowest scores each day from each flight get their combined scores, and then whoever has the lowest total at the end wins. And it's a lot of fun, things to do like that. Incorporating the way I do par 3 totals instead of CTPs is what we're going to do that as well. And who knows what the future holds? Maybe we'll do a 2-man like we do at Nationals one year. We'll see.
Yeah. Well, you've got 178 players out there. So how does this actually work? I know you've got half the field on Stadium day one, the other half on Champ, and then you flip it. Which
Correct.
Which flights are which?
So I believe this year it's Champ and D flight together, and they start on Champions course.
Okay.
And then A, B, and C will be on Stadiums to start off.
Okay. That's really all you can do with and it's great that there's those two courses and you can do that. You know, when we did the regional at Whistling Straits that one year, I'd asked if we could do, you know, Straits one day and or half the field in Straits one day and the other half over at Black Wolf Run, but they didn't want us taking up the Straits course for 2 days in a row
For the whole day. Right.
And they, in one sense, on that Straits course, I'm glad that everybody got to do tee times. That way, you really kind of played the course the way it was meant to do. And I think if you do a shotgun there, number one, when you've got to walk all the way out to as far hole,
I would have been so mad.
But it is what it is, I think players got a much better, being the Straits course. I think they got a much better experience, with the tee time event. Even though we were there, if you remember, we started at 6:30 in the morning and it was dark when we got off. That was a long day.
Yep. Yeah, it was for you all. I'm pretty sure it was a very long day.
Yeah.
I got to sleep in a little bit and show up a little bit later because I was on the second part of the tee time. So appreciate you on that. But
there was one or two groups I had to really push around, to get them finished.
Not mine. That's
anyway,
for sure.
You're going to be in Scottsdale, and I'm heading to French Lick. When I made my arrangements, I originally thought I was flying into Indianapolis or something like that, but we actually fly into Louisville, which isn't too far from Kentucky, and the Bourbon Trail there.
There you go.
The problem is, couldn't get a decent flight in to be able to go to do the Bourbon Trail on Saturday. And we got an early flight out on Tuesday. Because it's like, flying in and out of Hilton Head, you don't really go anywhere nonstop. So you got to make the connector. And I'm always of the mindset, especially when you're flying during the week, you need to be on that first flight. That way, you're going to get out, and eventually, you'll get home. So, So if we can get there at a decent time on Saturday, no delays, I may be able to get over to maybe a couple of distilleries, but I'm not holding my breath on it. And
let me know how it goes.
I haven't mentioned that to Jen yet, so I'm going to try and keep her off of this. Not listen to the podcast. Until next week after we get back. So we'll see what happens.
There you go. There you go. Good luck with that.
Yeah, exactly. I think we already know how that's going to work out. So, but anyway, I'm looking forward to this coming weekend. And I know you are. We're less than 60 days out from national championship, and it's funny. There's a lot of things going on in the national office as they prepare for national championship. And I just happened to have a conversation with another tour director. Maybe it was Wednesday, Thursday. And Jen starts walking in my office and we're talking about national championship. And she chimes in. She says, well, I need to stop you two from talking. You're making plans and Tim doesn't even know we're talking about him in the podcast and the things that they're going to be doing yet. So you have to, I saw your face. Okay. I saw your face. So, there's things going on that we don't even know about yet.
Right.
So the plans have already started, which to me is great.
I hate the unknown though.
I do as well. Because one of the things I told the tour director I was talking about, I said, I'm not sure where I'm going to be, but this is what I do know, right? I just know from history, on Sunday is I'm out for Sunday. Just I'm out.
Right.
There's too much with me going on. Thursday we've got registration, and actually Jen asked me what time we were doing the live feed. I said, Chris and I haven't talked about it yet. We have some
one
ideas.
regional at a time.
Exactly. Well, no, this is for national championship.
Well, I know that,
Okay.
but let's get through this regional first.
That's what I said. I said, we haven't even talked about it yet. And she said, well, I need copy. I need copy now. I said, what do you, just tell me we're going to be there. Just tell me we're going to do it.
When the rope drops.
So, but I know they're working on it. And so again, that's exciting. So as you're listening, understand that things are going to be trickling out. Go ahead and get registered and get paid because you don't want to miss it. That's for sure.
Right. I'm in the process of getting that done. I know you scolded me last time, but I'm in the process of getting that done. So I'll be on that roster real soon, and then you'll probably start hearing some knees shake once they see that my name on that roster.
I'm sure that's what it's going to be. But it's going to be a good time. Again, I know you're excited and looking forward to it. I am, and it's almost bittersweet, right? Because it's what we look forward to all year.
Yeah.
And then it's over, and then we're another 2.5 months of planning. I mean, really, the first 2 weeks after, I think we all need a break, which is fine. But then the anticipation starts for the next year, almost immediately.
Most definitely. Yep, most definitely. And it's just getting ready for all of that, and having to go and do our schedules once again.
Exactly. Copied you on a text message this morning that I got from KC from the Tampa tour, and I love these texts. I really do, because it shows, number one, that players are listening, but they're also thinking about the rules as well.
Right.
Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to read the text to you. Hey Tim, this is KC from Tampa tour. I heard you on the podcast with Roger, the rules guy. You sound like you have a good understanding of the rules, so I have a question maybe you can answer for me. Well, I'd like to think I have a good handle on it, but I think, when you can record things and KC, sometimes you don't know what we actually say on here. So, but
right.
I do appreciate the good words on that. But anyway, if I'm standing on the tee box and throw a tee about 4 or 5 feet out in front of the tee markers, can I use that tee as an alignment reference point? Thanks for your help. And I thought about it for a second, and I shot him back something. And again, when I did that, I was thinking, Roger has told us, in the past, you said, rules and stuff that maybe we don't necessarily talk about. Okay.
Right.
Here's my initial response to him. I said, that's a great question. My initial reaction is no, but I'm also thinking it has something to do with the tees, and they're special because they're not equipment and can be shared. What would you think? Now, I know you got the text message from Roger. What was your initial?
Well, before I got the response from Roger, I initially said no.
Okay.
And the reason why I know it was no, I knew it was no. No, I was no. Anyways,
it was a no.
Is because I align myself, with the hole by looking behind it, and I was told you can't throw something out there to help you.
Okay.
When I was taught that you have to find a spot on the ground or something that's already there, and you don't actually put it there. And so that's fair enough. So I already knew the answer, and when Roger responded, I was happy that I knew the correct answer.
Well, he sent a follow-up text too.
Right.
Okay. So the follow-up text was kind of added some context to it. His follow-up text says, I was just thinking that if I walked onto a tee box and a previous player left a tee there, I should be able to use it as an alignment aid. Why can't I put my own tee out there too for the same purpose? Just curious. And my response there was, you're talking about two different things, right? Two very different things. If a tee's already there, that's different than you putting a tee there. So my response was, that is something different. So say someone hit their tee shot and the tee is there when you walk up. You can use that as an alignment aid because, number one, you didn't put it there
or move it.
Right. You didn't put it there, and the intent of when that person hit that ball was not to use a tee as alignment. Right. So,
right.
But then Roger came back, and Casey, this is covered in Rule 10.2. If an object or mark is there already, that's fine. But a player cannot put something down as an alignment aid. It's a 2-stroke penalty if they do. And Chris, you and I, bingo, got it right.
We get our gold star.
We do. But that's a good question. And again, I love those questions. Send them to us. Because again, it shows that people are listening, and 2, that they're actually thinking about the rules and how important they are. So, KC, nice job, bud.
Right. And I mean, with the rules changing, I mean, I feel like the rules have changed a lot in the last, 4 years maybe, that people might not even be aware of the rule changes. So definitely send us any questions. We're more than happy to cover them.
Absolutely. So we got the shirt contest. This is the last week of August. Get your shirts in.
Entries need to be entered by Saturday.
Yes. But yeah, Saturday's the last day to enter. And we do have some news. We kind of changed the rules to slightly a little bit, to answer some concerns and some emails and text messages from you all as members, to make it a little bit more, how would you say, Chris, fair? I don't know the
open?
fair. Well, more open and inclusive. How about that? More open and inclusive.
Yeah. And like you say, it's our podcast. We can do whatever we want.
There we go. And what we're doing is, we've had 2 players that out of the 7 months had won 5 of the 7 months. And so what we've done is we've talked to them, and we've told them out of the months that they've won, for them to choose the one shirt that they wanted to go forward with. And then for those other months, we're reaching back out to the people that either came in 2nd or 3rd place and giving them an opportunity to be in the bracket contest with the shirt that they came in either 2nd or 3rd place, depending on where they finished and who's already in.
Right. Yeah. I mean, keep in mind, this is our first time ever doing it. We want to do it again. We don't want this to be the only time we did it. So yeah, there are some growing pains and there are some learning moments for you and me. But I think this allows us to have 8 different people representing their tours than 4.
4, right. And that was one of the whole reasons of doing this was, to get people from across the country in different tours into this. So we'll look at how we did this moving forward and make some adjustments for next year or what have you. But I'm excited, number one, that we are going to have 8 different people, maybe from 8 different tours. I don't know. No, not right. No, absolutely not. At least 6 tours.
I got 2.
Because you got 2. That's pretty awesome. So 8 people from 7 tours.
There you go.
Hopefully. So we'll see how that goes. But again, get your shirt entries in for the month of August, and because we do, again, we have a quick turnaround. Got to have the
get
vote.
Ready to vote,
and then we've got the bracket that we have to put together, and then it'll be 3 weeks of voting in the bracket.
Quick voting too,
quick, right.
a week's worth of voting. So get ready. Even if you're part of the bracket, get ready to start putting yourself out there, because you're going to need to collect all these votes that you can.
Exactly. It's going to be fun. And there's a lot going on the next, 60 days. Really looking forward to seeing how things play out. And, as we get closer to the end of the season, one of the things that you and I generally look at is stats for the tour, things that have gone on. And, we mentioned earlier when we were talking to Donnie, we missed Joe Jaspers qualifying for U.S. Senior Open, U.S. Senior Amateur, U.S. Senior Am. And I got my dates wrong. The first round is on Saturday, so he won't be finished by the time this goes live. But hopefully he'll still be playing in the match play portion. But obviously we wish him well. And this is he's qualified 3 of the last 4 years.
There you go. I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised, especially being able to talk to him and Got to meet him last year when I had to do his interview. So he's a baller, and good for him. Good luck out there.
Exactly. Let's look at some numbers that I'm not sure that many people, really understand. And so for these just are champ flight numbers. Do you know what's the lowest score for the seniors in the history of the tour? So out of 27 years, the lowest score recorded in senior tour history.
Well, I mean, I know it because I see it.
Yeah, it's 64. And that's been done twice. Once by Chad Frank Chad Frank did that a couple weeks ago in July. With that.
Yeah. In Orlando. Falcons fire.
Yeah.
Someone was on fire.
Exactly. And Randy Ponte in June of 22 from the Louisiana Tour at Oak Wing Golf Course.
Yeah. There's a Tamaka Trails one. I played that course this year.
Yeah, you
That's
did.
not an easy course. 65.
That's pretty good. But when we go over to the champ side, we've got low score 62. And that's been done three times. 3 times.
One as early as last year.
Yeah.
From Andrew.
From Andrew Buse. That was actually like a year ago, August 26th. Andrew Buse and Lance Lacombe did it. Donnie just talked about. Did it in August of 22, so just over 2 years ago. But the first time it was done was Jeff Allen from Myrtle Beach, and he did that on September 16th. He did that in September of 2016.
But look at the next ones, the 63s. You see those two?
Yeah.
Champ flight day 2, day 3.
Well, yes. So day 3 was actually 64, but that propelled him to the win.
Yep.
HB was a 63, lowest round in national championship history. That's pretty.
Yes, sir.
That's solid right there. But again, if you turn around and Genki Sadato shot a 64 the very next day, which propelled him to the national championship. Now, I've talked about Hampton Hall in the past and how much I like it. One of the reasons why I like it is because it's so wide open. And
I love Hampton Hall.
Yeah. And you put those
I'm not
guys
shooting
out
in
there.
the 60s, but I think I shot pretty well out there.
Well, why not?
I don't make enough birdies. Not yet. We're working on it. We won't go there. We're celebrating these low scores.
Yeah, you're gonna be just fine. Seriously. But
look, there's another Hampton Hall day 3 from 22.
Yeah,
Lance Lacombe, 65.
Yeah, how about that? So it's these champ flight guys. It's no joke. It really isn't.
No.
I mean, you got Joe Jaspers' name has been showing up there. A couple of 64s. Jeff Wong, 64 at Dolphin Head. Goodness gracious.
A lot of 67s, that's for sure.
You see a lot.
The list we got is 200 names, 200 scores of below par.
Jeff Wong, 10 times.
Joe Jaspers, 10 times.
Matt Sproul from Tybar has been on there a bunch of times. Chuck Spears from Louisiana North, we met him, interviewed him. Brian Quackenbush, he qualified for U.S. Senior Open last year. He's on there 4 times.
You say what?
Will Morgan, 4 times.
Wes Strader?
Yeah.
Eastern North Carolina?
Yeah.
6 times?
6 times. Lance. How many times Lance on there? 1, 2, 3, 8 times. HB's on there how many times? 5 times.
I believe.
What about that? Corbin Holt, I talked about him a bunch.
Out of those 200, though, there's only 8 that are in the national championship.
How about that?
And guess, out of those 8, which course has the most?
Oh, it's got to be Hampton Hall.
7 of the 8.
Yeah.
All in the same year.
Yeah, but good form though.
Right. 2 day 1s, 1 day 2, and 4 day 3s.
That's pretty awesome.
So Dennis was being nice to him. That's what it was. He wanted to see fireworks.
Yeah, but you know what? People did
You still got to make the shot.
You still got to do it, right? You still have to go out and do it. That's the other thing there, right? So, but this is pretty awesome. And I'm glad that Dennis sent this list over. And some of the other things that the record for a number of wins in a year by a champ flight player is 14.
Yep.
Okay. And if you think about it, on average, tours only have 12 to 13 tournaments, maybe 14. Some will have more, but averages, you're talking 12 or 13. And for somebody to win 14, that's some good playing. That was done by Jim Gallagher in 2009. He had 14. And as of right now, our tattoo guy, Luke Bohm, he has 12 this year.
That's probably going to be a new tattoo.
Well, yeah, that would put him as a tie for second all time for number of wins over the course of a year at 12.
That's crazy. That's a lot of wins.
It's a lot of playing.
Yeah.
I can't imagine that, even playing all that time, you're not going to win every event.
Right.
Right.
And we know Luke travels.
Yes, Luke travels. So Jim Gallagher in 2009, he played 22 tournaments.
Jesus. He traveled a lot.
He played 22 rounds.
Okay.
And wins 14 of them.
Yeah.
That's solid effort right there.
I think the most I've won in a season was 4. So I'm quite a ways, but it is nice when you win multiple ones per year.
It is. Now I wonder how Ed Monroe from Milwaukee did this year. I saw him do a bunch of posts with trophies. So I wonder how many he won this year.
No, it's just pictures with trophies.
Oh man, Ed, I believe in you, buddy. I believe in you. But yeah, some of these numbers, most all-time wins, Joe Jaspers was 79.
Of course.
Again, 79 wins, man. Think about it. Now,
crazy.
Joe's been with Dennis, I think, all 30 years, the whole time.
Right. And 7 of those are national championships.
Yep, 7 of those are national championships. It's good to see these numbers, going back, because again, 30 years, seeing what some of these people have done, over that time frame, it's impressive.
It definitely is.
To say the least. When Luke was going for his 13th win, he was playing a tournament in Minnesota, playing against Matt Foch.
Yeah.
Matt's a sleeper, man.
He's quiet.
He's quiet.
He's quiet to begin with, but I'm pretty sure his golf game's the same. He'll just lull you to sleep, and the next thing you know,
he'd beat you by 20 strokes.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to seeing him coming up here in a few weeks.
I'm looking forward to it. The wife's coming up, so everybody gets to see what I have to deal with. Just kidding. Not what I have to deal with. She has to deal with me.
Exactly.
Every day. I don't know. Bless her heart. But it's going to be a fun time. I can't wait. And I got to get that name of that candy shop because I know she'll love to go there.
Pops
Candy Shop. But I'm going to forget, so I'm just going to ask you when we get there.
Got a lot going on. I know you're going to have a good trip and you're going to do well. Obviously, you and I are going to talk about when we're going to be live on Monday, next Monday, on Labor Day.
Yes.
But we'll talk we'll talk before then, and I'm sure that you're going to do just fine. No doubt.
I appreciate it. I'm excited. Especially with the score I shot at my last local event. It's encouraging. So, because I wasn't expecting that.
I do. I expect from you all the time.
Well, with the way I was playing lately, I wasn't expecting it. We'll be all right. I'm excited. I can't wait.
All right, man. It's good seeing you as always. I know you're going to do well. Tell Gabe, and I know you and I talked, but I'm hoping that there's a bunch of Atlanta guys going out there to TPC Scottsdale. I'm hoping that Gabe can put you with Jamil or some of the other guys from Atlanta. You're gonna love them. They're great guys. You're gonna have, if you do, you're gonna have a great time. No,
I'm pretty sure.
You're gonna have a great time anyway. But some of those guys that are going out there are a ton of fun. You're going to love it.
I'm excited. I can't wait.
All right, my
Tell
friend.
them to come say hi.
I will. Will you enjoy yourself?
Anybody's listening, come say hi.
Always, always, always.
All right, partner. We'll talk
Enjoy
to you
yourself. Take care and drive safe.
soon. Likewise.
Bye-bye. Chris, we didn't do it again.
What didn't we do?
We didn't say how to join the tour.
That's right. It's simple. All you need to do is go to amateurgolftour.net, click the Join the Tour button, and pay your local tours membership.
Thanks, Chris. Membership for 2024 is open, so register today to join the oldest, largest, and best amateur tour in the country.